Hello, everybody. This is Heather Turner, the Marketing Director for ALP. And we're going to talk about a little initiative that I've been working on in my not so much free time on nights and weekends. And I hope this can help. This is, unfortunately, I can't print out money for everybody. I really wish that I could. Um, and if I ever get that magic wand, I will try to do so. I just want to do some couple of quick housekeeping things before we start. We are recording this and it will be available on the ALP website. And we also put up the Better Way to Stay website is actually back up again. So if you go to betterwaytostay.com, all of the information, including this video, will be on there. If you have any questions, there are two different ways to ask questions. You can either type them in, there is a chat bar. If you're on a PC, you can bring your mouse down to the bottom of the screen on a PC and you're gonna see a box that says chat. If you are on a Macintosh, it is at the top and it's the same way. And if you are on a mobile device or a Kindle or any sort of tablet, apparently the bar for chat and the other options doesn't come up right away, but if you tap twice on any of the black space, that will come up. All right, so here we go, and I hope this helps a little bit. These are the top 3 questions that we have been getting. Is number 1, questions about money, the SBA, the EIDL loans, the PPP, and we have been trying our best to get as many answers as possible, and I know that we've talked to a lot of individual innkeepers by email and by phone and also by Zoom, and trying to help them out as best we can with individual loan questions, so we will continue to try to do that. The number 2 question we get is on cleaning. We do have a webinar with Dirk Johnson tomorrow at 2 o'clock Eastern time. That is available for members. We will be sending out a reminder in the weekly news you can use, but if you have logged in, or even if you have not logged in yet, but soon hopefully will be, if you're an ALP member, you can log into the members only section of the website, and that link will be there as well as several of the other ones. The third question that I've been getting an awful lot of, and this is actually the top 3 questions among all of them we've been getting for the last few months, is what are we doing about marketing, and what should we be doing now that we are all closed? Now, I know a lot of you are familiar with this. I know that Kristen is, I think, on the call already, and thank you so much, Kristen, for this. So if you are on Instagram, you might have participated in the B&B photo challenge that Kristen had started last year and had also continued to do this year. And I really appreciate the fact that she had this initiative. And I actually just found this, the Still in Business story about where that idea came from. And I think it's fantastic that that other people have been doing month-long challenges. So this kind of was the instigator for doing this. But we're hoping that this will continue not just for a month. We're going to be kind of trial doing it as a test run starting next month and doing it until August. And I'll explain a little bit more in depth about that at the moment. And we know we just had a couple of people joining us. If you do have questions, you are currently muted. Please unmute yourself, or you can ask the question in the chat bar, and we are recording this. Now, one of the primary reasons for doing this right now is people are pretty much, unfortunately, stuck at home. So we have a captive audience, and unfortunately, a lot of innkeepers have too much time on their hands. And so I thought, well, let's try to use this time period productively and also try to get our B&Bs in front of those people that will turn into future guests and future heads in beds. So there's going to be prompts that we'll be putting up similar to the Instagram challenge, but instead of just on Instagram, they're going to be going up daily on ALP's Facebook pages and during the week on Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. But the photos themselves, and they don't just have to be photos, they can be videos too, and there's daily prompts that will come out. And I have them actually all written out ahead of time, so you can see them months and months in advance. You can use them on anything. So if you have a photo or a video that you've done, use them on Facebook, use them on Instagram, use them on Pinterest, use them on any of your social media. The whole point of this is for you guys to have some direction for your own marketing and to keep bed and breakfast and small legal lodging in front of people so that when the economy starts to recover and people start to travel again, they remember bed and breakfast, they remember small legal lodgings, they don't remember hotels and Airbnbs. So that's part of the aim of that, and I hope that's explained enough of this. So I'm going to let you guys read this. And hopefully if you have any questions, I'm not going to read it to you, but I'm just going to give you a chance to kind of observe it. And if you have questions, again, please feel free to unmute yourself or ask your questions in the question bar. Okay. And one of the reasons that I thought this might be an interesting project for INS to do is this is something that I help with a lot of my personal clients do, and also with my SCORE clients, my SCORE mentees, is help them build a marketing calendar and to get ahead of their marketing. So I'm hoping that as we start to recover and B&Bs start to open up, whether it's next month, whether it's in a month from now, they'll have a bit more of a grasp on where to go and what to do. Okay. Now, some of the photo prompts are going to be easy. So May 1st, for example, is a photo of your front door. What I would like people to do is not get locked up into the conception that a photo of your front door is just a photo of your front door. So, does your front door have something unique on it? Is the door handle interesting? Is there a unique pattern in the wood, for example? Do you have something that a local craftsman made, for example, that's on the front door? It could be something that's zoomed out. It could be a picture with your sign in it, for example. It could be you opening the door, or even better, it could be you, and if you have a partner or significant other, looking out and smiling as if welcoming people in. So, use it just as a template and as a guide, but please play with this because you can do a lot of fun things with the prompts. So one of the prompts is take a photo of your B&B mug. So think about when you're taking pictures, don't just take one picture, go take 20 pictures, go take 200 pictures. Take things from different angles. If you're taking room pictures, for example, go in and take 300 pictures of your room. Even if you're using someone else, you're using a professional photographer for pictures of your rooms for your website, which I definitely do recommend, but I know a lot of B&Bs have do-it-yourself websites, but you also need content for your social media. So if you're taking 20 different pictures of your mugs, for example, that's, when you think about it, that's 20 different posts you could use in a whole series of years or months that you could use on social media that are separate posts. Make them a little bit unique. Don't just take that picture of the mug and walk away and say you're done with it, because this is going to help you get ahead on future content. The more pictures that you have, the more content that you're going to have to fill your social media queues up. Now, Tatiana, who's on the call, she has Top of the Ridge Farm Bed and Breakfast in New Durham, New Hampshire, and she volunteered to help me out with this. And I have to say, she's on the call today. Thank you very, very much for doing this. So she took a picture of her old apple tree ladder and wrote me a little blurb about that. And I love what she did with this because she took a picture of it outside with her property in the background with some apples. And she took a close-up of it. She took one with the dogs in it. And she also took one that's also a good marketing one because it's got it in the house, but it's also got a picture of her sign inside. So she's also branding the photo. So think about this, when you're taking pictures, if you're taking a picture of a B&B mug, it probably has your logo and your bed and breakfast name on it. But if you're taking pictures around your B&B and around your property, think of what you can include that's also branding the business in it. So the photo of the front door, for example, if you can manage to fit that B&B welcome sign in the front too with your B&B name on it, see if you can angle that into the shot. So kind of co-brand your pictures that you're taking and put marketing material in them. If you're local to a bunch of wineries, for example, if you're taking a table shot with something on it, with a glass of wine and some cheese on it. Maybe spread out some of the vineyard brochures that you have locally. Think about how you can tell a story with your pictures, so that when you're posting these pictures on social media, people can get a whole idea of it's not just you that you're branding and advertising, but your area too. Okay. Now, one of the points of when you get ahead on your social media is gather your photos first and then label them, because this is the easiest way to get ahead on this. So these are all the photo prompts for you guys that will be for the next month. And I use this as an example of, these are all ones that when you have your photos together, just label them with the date or the dates that you're going to use them. Once you've done that, it's a huge time saver instead of trying to go and, every time you want to post something or every time you want to schedule a bunch of things in, having to manually find those pictures. If you put them in one particular folder on your computer, it's kind of one-stop shopping when you go to post them. Okay. Now, this is just a kind of an example of one of the things that, even though you're not open now, perhaps, you can still advertise your B&B, and this is called using the soft sell technique. So we can't welcome you now, for example, or you want to talk about, a local place that might also be closed. Stonefield Gardens, for example, is local to me in New Hampshire, and we were just there the other day. But go ahead and think about what are things that you can take now and tie those into story pictures. That kind of thing helps you get ahead on anything. And there's a great comment in here that says, we're a pet-friendly inn. We encourage our guests to take pictures of their pets and send them to us. And that's great. Many include the name and some signage. Then that's wonderful. If you can repost those, that's just fantastic. Okay, so these are the photo prompts that will be showing up online. And we just put this up. Literally, I did this very, very early this morning. So there's more content that's going to be in it. And if you go to this tab, the Better Way to Stay, you're going to see all of the information that I'm going to touch on now. Okay. Now, we will put the video link in here, so if you need to refer back to this, these are all resource documents from this. And what I did is, I know a lot of people are not necessarily familiar with Google Docs, which is what I use a lot of. You don't have to use Google Docs, but what I did was I made some cheats up so that if you have never used Google Documents before, and you don't have to use this, this is just to show you how to download something. If you start there, it'll show you where to go if you want to download something. If you are using Google Docs or Google Drive, you can also edit many of these things online. So you don't necessarily have to download them. You can just self-edit online. So you can make a copy of it, which will be stored then in your own Google Drive, or you can download it too as a Microsoft Word document or an Excel document. Okay. Now, I've also included things like examples of daily posts and suggested hashtags. So these are hashtags that are completely optional to use. What we're trying to do is every Monday and every Thursday is to do food pictures, and those will be Better Way to Stay, not necessarily branded, but prompted. So you don't have to be an ALP member to participate in this. Again, the whole idea is to just help bed and breakfasts and legal small lodging get in front of people's faces while they are basically stuck at home. So we'd ask that you use Better Way to Stay in the posts, because Better Way to Stay has been around for quite a while, and it is such a great kind of byline as well. These are all suggested ones, but not ones that you necessarily have to use. But we've also given some additional examples of posts. So if you need some additional direction in terms of things to write. And one of the reasons that I did it like this is I tried to make this as easy as possible for everybody, so that we did a printable calendar. I'm going to go down here. And just to give you an example, if you do want to get ahead of this, and this is also downloadable in Microsoft Word, you can just type up your posts in advance and get your photos ready in advance, and then you're all ready to go. Some of the B&Bs that I work with have done this type of thing, and they have, one of them has their blog posts written every week, even though they're short and sweet, up until next year. When you start getting ahead on your social media content, it really becomes less of a weight on your shoulders to have to do it. And now is the time to do it so that you can get ahead of when the busy season is, when Christmas is coming on. You know, and especially next year when we start back up into the regular normal again, when Valentine's Day is, which is a huge marketing opportunity for ends. So what I'd like people to do is to try to get into the habit of doing this, because this will really help you out. Okay. What we also did was I did printable calendars. So you can print the actual calendar off completely, and it's got all the prompts in it. And let's do, and this is it. This is a couple of different things. This is May, and May is all non-necessarily direct marketing. You can add marketing into these posts. Again, these are just suggestions, and I gave people options. So again, Monday and Thursday, if you can participate in a food-related one, that would be fantastic. Or as an option, there are a lot of national and international days. So if you wanted that as a prompt too, you could certainly use one of those. At the bottom of these, there's two different tabs. So there's a June tab, and the June tab is similar. So unfortunately, if you're still closed, but you still want to participate and post things, and you do not have to post things every single day. This is completely optional if you do want to participate. But again, you know, people are stuck at home. They're on Pinterest, they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram. My personal feeling of is take advantage of this time period, because now is the perfect time to get in front of them. So June, this is the same type of thing. They can be promotional posts, but they don't have to be. But I did two different versions for June, July, and August. There's one for June, opening and sales, with a little bit different versions in here. So the prompts are a little bit different. So for June 9th, for example, instead of having a picture of your dining room, for example, plug in a special offer as a prompt for people, okay? So all of this, I tried to break it down by month to make it as easy as possible for people. You know, there is one more thing that I wanted to show you, which was this one. I know a lot of people have questions about Canva. YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, all the rest of those. What I put together is the most helpful links. So if you've never used Canva before, you can go to the design school canva.com, for example, or you can click on this. This I actually just found this recently, and this site is fantastic. And they have tutorials for pretty much everything, creating a Facebook post, creating anything from scratch. And they have all of these, for example, so if you've never used Pinterest before, or you've never used YouTube before, YouTube has a creator academy that you can take everything from scratch, and it'll teach you everything you want to know about YouTube, for example. But they also have this, which is basically also tutorials on YouTube. And this is one of the most user-friendly tutorial sites that I've ever seen before. Pinterest actually just rolled out their own Pinterest Academy, which just came out last week, so I added it in there. There's also some other links in here too, reducing image file size, if you need help with Google Docs and spreadsheets. I personally like it because it's very easy to tie a lot of things on together online. Stock photo information I also added. So all of the things regarding stock photos, that if you need stock photo sites out there, paid ones and free ones, and some free online photo editors. And also when you get back into business again, there's also model releases here, which are something that if you do have pictures of guests that you're taking, I would definitely get their permission, at least verbally, but even if you can get them to just write it in as a model release. But if they have minors, if they have children that they're bringing, please make sure you get a model release, especially if you're going to use those pictures in marketing, okay? Does anybody have any questions for me? And I know this was kind of short and sweet, but this is just primarily just to be an overview of what we were working on for this. So if you have questions, please feel free to unmute yourself or ask the questions in here. And I know we just had a couple of people just join us late. We have recorded this, so I think you unfortunately have missed most of this, but I can certainly make sure that I can send the recording out.
Hey, Heather, this is Kristen.
Yes.
I do have a question. Is there one main hashtag that you really want to make sure that we all use?
The better way to state one. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And then the link to the Google Docs. So if you go to betterwaystostay.com and then click on the Better Way to Stay tab right here, this is where all those links are that I just went over. Okay, and I will be adding more, we will be adding more things to the campaign, and we will be adding additional information. If this is something that innkeepers really do think is beneficial and helpful, I can certainly continue to make up monthly schedules for people. You know, it's not a quick one to do, but I'm happy to do it if it's helping people out. Okay.
Hey Heather, this is Monique. This is wonderful. The prompts are really helpful because sometimes you get stale and ideas.
Yeah. Okay.
I just want to make sure I'm clear because I did come in late.
Okay.
So you're asking all ends to try to work with those prompts on specific days and use hashtag.
Yep.
How would the user, so is the idea that the user, if they're interested in what we're talking about, could go in and put in the hashtag, a better way to stay, and they can see what everyone has done, or is
yes.
that?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, and I will try to repost some posts on social media. I unfortunately I'm only one person. I'm still working on that cloning machine in my basement. I mean, you can certainly, especially on Facebook, you can tag me at Forfang or on Twitter, and I'll try to monitor that. But I can't necessarily catch everybody. But I will try to repost as many as I can. Okay.
And you're reposting them where again?
I'll repost them on, we have two Facebook pages. We have the Better Way to Stay Facebook page, and we have the Pi, which we're trying to transition over to ALP, but Facebook apparently doesn't like us very much because we've actually put in the request several hundred times, but it's on the former Pi, now ALP Facebook page. But we're also on Instagram and Twitter at Innkeeping.
So where do we tag you again?
You can tag me personally. I'm on Facebook at Forfang or Heather Turner or Forfang on Twitter, and I can repost it.
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing what you're saying.
That's, yeah, at Forfeng.
F-O-R-F what?
Forfeng. And
Okay.
I'll type it into the chat. Yeah, and I do monitor the Innkeeping one as well too, but just I'm not on it quite as often. And I actually have more followers on Twitter on Forfang than on Twitter at the moment, but we're working on that. Okay.
So this is rolling out for the first time starting May 1?
Yes, because I didn't want to overlap with Kristen's Instagram, which is ending at the end of this month.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any more questions, you guys? Is this making sense to everybody? I'm hoping I explained all this properly or enough. You know, and if you have state or regional associations that you belong to, we would love extra participation in this. You know, the more we can, you know, stay together and stand together as a B&B industry, the better off we're going to be in the long run. So I know that we have a couple of state people on the call. So please, anything that we can do to help you guys out, we will definitely try to do that as much. And there's a comment in here from Carl. I'm so happy to see the Better Way to Stay slogan is being used again. Will there be a strong push on this once this is all behind us? As far as I'm concerned, there will be. I asked permission of Rob and Chris to kind of initiate this. And this has been on our to-do list, and we were actually planning on starting this late last year, and then the merger happened. So we got kind of pushed behind a little bit. So we're kind of kickstarting this in advance now, but yes, we are definitely going to get that back in gear again. And hopefully this will help everybody, you know, in the long run. Again, we are going to be rolling out some more initiatives for this as we go along. You know, if anybody has any great ideas, I would love to hear them, and I will definitely give people credit for that. I mean, we're all in this together, as people keep saying, which is very, very true. Okay.
Panic here. I have a question.
Yes.
When you post the link to the recording, is it okay to send that to all my members in the West Virginia Better Breakfast Association?
Absolutely.
Just wanted to verify before I do it.
I didn't catch that. I'm sorry, but yeah, absolutely. Please share it, you guys. You know, the more we can help stay together as an industry, the stronger we are.
On this. Also, but I didn't want to do it without permission.
Oh no, my apologies. Your audio is breaking up. If you would like to email me, please email me at marketing@alplodging.org. If anybody needs help with anything specifically, again, this is completely voluntary. This is just something, if you want to get ahead on marketing a little bit, you don't have to do this every day unless you want to get ahead of it a little bit. But I think you can definitely have a lot of fun with this, which is good because I know I and everybody else I've talked to definitely needs a bit of a distraction. Okay. Any more questions?
I have another one.
Yes.
So I have a calendar of kind of theme days that
Mhm.
I'm doing myself
Okay.
already.
Yeah.
Um, do you think it's overkill to have, 2 posts a day if I participate with this?
Honestly, I've gotten that question a lot. I don't think so. And, the reason being is all social media channels, if you have 100 people on liking you on Facebook, or in your case, you probably have 10,000 people that like you on your Facebook pages. But I mean, realistically, only 2 to 3% on Facebook of those people are seeing your posts in the first place. And on all of the other channels, and this is one place that I kind of diverge a little bit in some other marketing people where they're saying don't post the same thing. Is I think you can post the same visual imagery if you want to change the text to gear it towards an individual channel. Yes, definitely do that. But I mean, if I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram and I'm on Twitter, I'm not on all of them at the same time. And I'm on Twitter and I follow 3,000 people, and I'm on Instagram and maybe I only follow 200. But if I'm on Facebook, I also see my friends' posts and maybe I occasionally see a business post. But even if I was on all of them at the same time, the flows of all three of those channels are completely different. So the odds of my even seeing one photo, let alone 2 photos, is pretty slim. So I don't see any problem with that. On Instagram and Facebook, realistically, the more often you can post, the better, and Twitter too. LinkedIn, I think, is probably one of the few that I wouldn't encourage people to post more than once, especially if it was a quasi-marketing post. But yeah, I don't see any problem with that at all. I hope that helped.
Thank you.
Yep. Anybody else? Okay. All right, you guys. So this should be processed in about half an hour, and I will make sure it's loaded up. In the interim, if you want to check out all the documents and anything else that's in there, just go to the betterwaytostay.campaign or .com, and then go to here, the Better Way to Stay. And all those links. If you find anything missing, if you find a typo, please tell me. I do try to fix those, but I think I got most of them. But anything that you see isn't working, that you have suggestions for making it better, tweaking, please pass them on to me. I have an open mind. Okay, and again, I just want to help you guys. So that's all she wrote, folks. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And again, please email me. I just put my email address into the chat box. Okay. So thank you, everybody, and have a good rest of your day. All right. Bye.